In this video, I want to talk a little bit more about the GoPro Hero 12. Sorry, 13. Nah, I'm just kidding. I think that 13 is a great camera, but I am, however, a bit disappointed on it. And if you haven't seen my previous video where I shared my initial thoughts on the GoPro Hero 13, it's going to be linked in the description or a card that is going to pop up right here somewhere or at the end of this video. What I want to talk about is more so why I don't think that GoPro innovated enough with this camera, or as much as I thought that they could have done, at least with a camera like this. I remember when GoPro launched the absolute first action camera, and I bought one of the first ones. It was back at the time where you need to have a case to be able to go into the water and so on and so forth. But then I sort of shifted away from GoPro and started to use a Sony action camera. Yeah, those existed as well. Kind of weird, right? I basically used the camera like this, walked around, talked to it, because I thought it was so easy to just pick up the camera and start shooting. And I did not use it for any type of action whatsoever. And I'm going to say that I'm pretty much in the same spot today. The only action kind of stuff that I use my GoPros for is when I'm flying FPV. But I kind of skipped over a couple of GoPros after, I think it was GoPro 5 or something like that. And I went back into the GoPro swamp at around GoPro 8. I do remember if it was the 8 or 9 where GoPro made a really bad decision and they actually removed the possibility to replace the lens. So if the lens broke, you needed to replace the entire camera, and that sucked. That is something that they brought back as a feature. I can't remember, but probably a feature in the 10, 11, 12, and 13. And I really like the fact that you can replace the lens. If something breaks on the camera, it's usually this or the display in the back. And if you're wondering why I'm standing here with the GoPro 13 and 11, it's because I managed to crash and lose the GoPro Hero 12 with one of my FPV drones. So rest in peace. But it's pretty much the exact same body as the GoPro Hero 12. One thing that GoPro is focusing a lot with when it comes to GoPro Hero 13 is the accessories. And I get it, because where you make the most money is not with the camera in and by itself, it's with the accessories. So one of the things that I am disappointed of when it comes to the GoPro Hero 13 is that it feels like GoPro did not innovate enough with the camera. It feels like their focus was more so on the accessories than actually trying to bring a better camera to the market, because this is basically a repurposed GoPro Hero 12. Now, the ND filters that you get in the box with the legit kit or the new ND filters that you have for the GoPro cameras, they actually do work on the previous versions as well. So you can pick up the good old new ND filters and put them on right there, which is nice. And you can also use them on the new ones. So it's sort of like backwards and future compatibility, same kind of locking mount. However, though, when it comes to the wide angle lens and the macro lens, it only works on the GoPro Hero 13, as you can see right here. But when we try it on the GoPro Hero 11, which has the same mount as the Hero 12, we can't attach it. Like it doesn't work. There is something that doesn't make it really latch on there. And this is something that GoPro has chosen to do, mainly to focus more on the accessories rather than actually bringing a better sensor to the camera. I do think it's cool that you have all these different accessories and all that stuff for the GoPro now, but I don't think that the focus should be on the accessories. So if you take the macro lens, for example, if you want to have this on your GoPro, you're going to have to splurge out another $160 here in Sweden. And if you want to get the ultra wide lens too, that's another $130. So that means that just to get these two lenses, you're going to be down $300 more. And if you want to buy the magnetic door for your GoPro, which is not included in the actual kit, that's going to be another $100. So $300 for the lenses and then another $100 for the magnetic door. And if you want to have the ND filters too, that's another $70 that you gotta splurge out. So basically, if you want to have the entire kit, the GoPro promotes as the camera and what it is, you're gonna have to be down like $370 plus the $500 or $600 that you spend for the GoPro itself. I personally do not feel like that is that good of a deal, because it feels like all these accessories are the focus of the camera rather than the camera itself, as I said in the beginning of this video. But with that said, there is a couple of features that the GoPro 13 did do right. One of them is having the, what is it called, the 1/4 inch screw here in the bottom, which is something that you have on basically all the camera plates and all the different camera stuff. So you can rig this to multiple different rigs or whatever. You also have the built-in shoe, as per usual, but also being able to have the magnetic sort of like latch on with the shoes as well, which makes it very easy to just put it on and take it off, whatever you're using the GoPro for. I also do like the fact that you have the replaceable door on the GoPro, so you can switch it out for a magnetic charger, which is nice if you're riding a bike and that kind of stuff. You want to charge it indefinitely and just keep it rolling. But again, that's $100 extra for the door and a cable. I do think that that is something that should have been included in the actual pack to make the GoPro feel like a more innovative camera. And again, if you watch my latest video, then you probably already know what I think about the battery. And there's been some of you that says like, well, they needed to make the battery different in order to improve the overheating. And I'm actually gonna buy the GoPro Hero 12 in the future here and take it apart and take this one apart as well to see what the difference inside actually is. But that's going to be an entirely different video. However though, none of these lens mods that you have to pay several $100s for is going to work on any of the previous GoPros. You got to be aware of that as well. Same thing goes for all the new batteries that you purchased for the GoPro Hero 13 does not work on the previous models. Just to give you a little bit of specs on the batteries, the old battery has 1,720 milliamps with 6.62 watt hours. And the new one has 1,900 milliamps, which is great because that's an increment of the battery capacity with a 7.4 watt hour capacity. And looking at it, you can see that the new one has 5 pins and the old one has 4 pins. I'm not entirely convinced that you need to switch up the connector placement in order to get a little bit more capacity out of the battery. And you'll probably understand in a couple of weeks, but until then, that's my thoughts. So would I recommend the GoPro Hero 13? Absolutely. If you don't have a previous GoPro, go for it if you're looking to buy the latest and greatest, but you also got to be prepared if you want to have the extra stuff such as the lenses and all that. This is not going to be a cheap setup. If you're looking into getting your first GoPro and you want to get a cheaper version, then I would highly recommend the GoPro Hero 12 or even the GoPro Hero 11, because I think that the Hero 11 still is one of the best GoPros that I've tried. The GoPro Hero 13 is good, but it could have been so much better with a bigger camera sensor, better low light capabilities, but all in all, it's a decent camera. However though, I would have loved GoPro to innovate it a little bit more. Would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section, va? So do drop your comments and let's get the discussion up, va? Peter from Sweden is saying goodbye. Wish you a good one.